Right, morning. Welcome to Enduro 21's YouTube channel, and welcome to a very chilly mid-Wales. We're in the what many people will call the heart of Enduro country in the UK, especially people from around here. I'm in a little town called Llanidloes, which is not far away from where the Enduro GP of Wales is based and runs out of in Radar. And yeah, I'm just on my way up the road now to go to the Yamaha Off-Road Experience, so the Yamaha Off-Road Centre, which is up in the valley at the head of where the River Severn begins, and that's where I'm going to go and test the new 2025 Yamaha WR250F.
Practice needed.
Definitely on my part.
Your stopping was sick though.
Stoppies, if we can do them off the bat, but a wheelie, no way.
First thing to say, and really this test review of the 2025 WR250F can be summed up in the first line. I'm doing myself out of a job here, but you could probably read no more than this first line, and that is that it's everything that Yamaha say it is, and at the risk of sounding like some kind of an advert for Yamaha, it is lighter, more agile, it's got a bit more power, it's got a bit more power in the right place for me. It's a more fun bike to ride, even though lots of parts of it are very familiar. Still very much a WR, still very Yamaha-y. It's got that very familiar suspension, brakes. It's got the same, feels to me the same kind of footrest position, handlebar position that it's had for such a long time. It's still got that same twin spiral aluminium chassis. Stiffness by comparison to a steel backbone chassis type. There's a difference there, but in essence the updates for this new model are just, it's made it a more lively bike, a more fun bike to ride, and for me fundamentally a bike which I could get on and go and race straight away. When we first got on the bike this morning, it was icy, freezing, and there was fog everywhere. It's quite difficult to see, but I felt immediately comfortable to crack on with the bike, and that's always a good sign. It's a character trait of a 254 stroke enduro bike. Admittedly, you could get on any one of them and feel the same, but it's high praise to get on a bike and straight away get excited and find yourself exploring the limits of how fast you want to go in the woods, between the trees and in the enduro setting. It's a good thing when you jump on a bike. I don't feel that way. The only negative really is the same one that's always been there. It's something that Yamaha hasn't really ever fully changed, fully sorted out rather. It's that it's a little bit reluctant to start sometimes, and you know, when you're in the middle of an enduro test and you stall it, for example, you don't really need that sort of 3-4 seconds of the bike not really wanting to fire up and get going again. And I also found it, you know, you've still got that little bit of a right at the bottom of the rev. Sometimes when you're let's put yourself on a hill, a slippery hill, trying to get going, you're trying to find grip with the back wheel, you're right at the bottom of the revs, you're trying to use hardly any throttle, you're using the clutch, you don't want to spin the back wheel because it's not going to get you anywhere, and you're trying to feel right at the very bottom of the revs, and in that situation it still doesn't really want to find itself, you know, in a way that, you know, a fuel injected 2-stroke, for example, is really good in that situation. This is still a little bit too much like hard work, a little bit too many times you end up stalling it through no real fault of your own, and Yamaha hasn't really solved that problem still, I don't think. Whoa. What a good day riding motorbikes. Started out a bit misty and freezing. Look at it now, what a beauty. Yeah, came here to test 2025 WR250F. I definitely put it to the test today. We've had a really good day riding around with Don Jones from the UK based Yamaha Off-Road Experience, which is a training centre on the enduro bikes, but also on the adventure bikes. I'm not here to sell it for them, but the venue, the place they've got to ride is unbelievable. So Yamaha Off-Road Experience in Wales, come and check it out for sure. Oh, sit on a rock in the sunshine. Yeah, in a kind of cliched way, what's good about this bike is what I probably have said about every generation of WR250, and I've been riding them for a while now. You know, what was clear really quickly when I first got on this bike this morning is that it's a really playful bike. It's a little bit lighter, a little bit sharper, a little bit more nimble, and it's, you know, the changes are, I suppose you would say, more directly linked to the motocross bike than it used to be. Something is less of a contrast between the WR and the YZ 250F. The WR250F there's not so much difference between them than perhaps there used to be a decade or so ago. And for me, that's a good thing. You know, I've really enjoyed riding it. I felt straight away like I could get on it and go and do an enduro. Could do a sprint enduro, a time card enduro. Could go and race it. I wouldn't need to, you know, on manufacturers from other parts of Europe, for example, you have to perhaps work on the suspension a bit, say, to make it deal with the conditions, or I do anyway. But this bike is ready from the get-go, and that's a massive bonus. To a certain extent, you jump on a 250F 4-stroke, and you always feel like you're having a really good day. And you know, it's sort of by nature you feel like the boss of a 250F. I think you should do anyway. But that's exaggerated on this new 2025 model for me. I really did get on it and gel with it straight away, and I did feel like I was ride it like a boss, you know, really take charge of it and enjoy the ride and do what I wanted to do, more or less. A lot of things feel really familiar. You know, footrest position, the handlebar bend, that kind of thing hasn't really changed that much over the years. It is a lot narrower than it used to be, so it's a smaller bike. You feel a bit more in charge of it as a human being sitting on it. It doesn't feel like it's a big lump. It's nice and slender, controllable. Yamaha Off-Road Experience run Dunlop's tyres, the GMAX.
There you go, EN91 Enduro tyres and mousses. The blue light is on. That's the softer map that allows you to kind of be a bit more clumsy with the throttle, I guess you would say. Get away with more, it brings in more traction control and flattens out the power in the mid-range. So sometimes that can help. But I must say, in all honesty, I had it on the other map, no light on, more of the time, because I wanted that little zip in the mid-range, because it was fun. Basically, it was fun. I enjoyed myself riding this bike because of the sort of trail riding we did, where we could just, you're riding along and you're jumping over puddles, wheeling over puddles, you're jumping off little washouts, you're skipping along on the bike, and it was, yeah, a playful bike to ride. I think here in the UK where I'm testing it, I think they've sold out their initial quota, which might be something to do with the kind of slightly odd strategy they've had for actually bringing the bike here. So people have been wanting it and waiting for it. But it's also, you know, quite a lump of money less than, for example, an Austrian bike. I think I suppose one thing I would say is, for people who are waiting for this bike and wanting it to be a more docile trail bike, definitely have a test ride first, and definitely when you do test ride it, try the different maps, try out different options, because there's certainly more of a zip about the bike. It's more zingy than previous models. So from my point of view, that makes it just about right for me. It's a bike that I could happily wobble along and have a nice comfortable day, but equally I could go and spend a couple of hours at a moto track. I could take it to a sprint enduro, and really do feel like you can use the different extremes of enduro are possible on this. Having said that, I wouldn't be taking it to an extreme enduro. It's still got a little bit of that sort of uncertainty, and still a little bit easy to stall right at the bottom of the revs. There's a few times where we were in the trees and it was slippery and steep. I'm trying to get up the hill, and in a way that a 250 or 300 two-stroke is really nice to be able to just gently feel for the grip and use the clutch and the power. It's sometimes just too easy to just stop and caught and stall. But I won't go too much into the specs and details here, because we've already got them on the website, so go and check out Enduro 21. I'll put a link in the description, so you can go and find more about the details of the changes of the 2025 model. I don't want to sound like an advert for Yamaha, and it's obvious to say that with every model update, a manufacturer like Yamaha obviously works hard to update that bike and make it better, but this one really is just that little bit of a step change more than I was expecting, honestly. Like the 450 WR was last year, it was a real it does feel noticeably more nimble, more alert, more agile, more of a playful bike, and for my level of riding, more of a bike that I could jump on and go straight to an enduro right now and enjoy my ride and do, ride as I want to ride, really, without being put off by, I don't know, bad suspension or something or other. It's a bike to feel like a boss on, for sure.